Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Unraveling the Darkness. And tonight, our guest is Becky Lee Blackburn, better known as the Salt City Psychic, owner of Salt City Psychic and Reiki Holistic Center in Hutchinson, Kansas. For more than 8 years, Becky has worked as an evidential psychic medium, helping clients through mediumship, intuitive guidance, Reiki, life coaching, and spiritual mentorship. She is also Holy Fire Karuna Reiki Master and earned her master's degree in metaphysics in 2024, combining spiritual practice with years of hands-on experience. Becky's passion for the paranormal began with a life-changing encounter deep beneath the Kansas Prairie in the underground salt mine known as Stratica, where an unforgettable experience during a paranormal investigation transformed the course of her life. What started as curiosity quickly evolved into a decade-long journey, exploring haunted locations, developing her intuitive abilities, and investigating the unexplained. Today, she continues to work with clients from her unique Ruins and Reiki shed, where she offers psychic readings, evidential mediumship, Reiki sessions, sound healing, and spiritual coaching. Becky is also passionate about educating people on the importance of grounding and energetic self-care, especially for those involved in paranormal investigations. She regularly shares her experiences through her website, blog, Facebook, and YouTube channel, and hopes to one day publish a book about the extraordinary paranormal experience she had since childhood. This September, she will be returning to where it all began as she leads an investigation inside Stratica during Central Kansas Paracon, coming full circle nearly 10 years after her first unforgettable encounter. Please join me and welcome Becky Lee Blackburn, the Salt City Psychic, to Unraveling the Darkness. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Unraveling the Darkness. Kind of excited for tonight's guest, another person that's going to be at Central Kansas Paracon, Way Out West Paranormal, and Unraveling the Darkness are going to be there. We'll be doing some interviews with some of the speakers, and some of the vendors, and lots of people that are going to be there. So, without any further ado, let's bring Becky in. Good evening,
Howdy.
Becky.
Howdy, everyone. And thank you, Aaron, for inviting me, a fellow Blackburn. I love that.
Yes, thanks for coming on. I was like, oh, a Blackburn and in Kansas, most likely related.
Most likely.
Talking a little bit before the show, probably a ways back, but it's still like, it's cool when you find someone with the same name and you end up talking to them and just catching little stuff,
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I had most of my family my grandfather was born in Oklahoma, but his father and uncle moved to Topeka and started this nursery with a shovel, a wheelbarrow, and a horse in the 20s or 30s. And then next thing you know, it was like 26-acre nursery in Topeka.
Wow.
Just amazing.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Hardworking people back then,
Yes, they were.
It's amazing. They were survivors.
Yes. Hardworking. 8 to 10 years you've been doing this stuff. And it looks like you have just getting your bio and building the intro. I was like, wow, geez, she's been busy.
Yes. Well, I started 10 years ago. I turned 40 10 years ago. And it was a pivotal moment in my life where I was kind of done raising kids and was trying to find myself, because your mom your wife, your daughter, your sister, but I never got to be Becky. So I signed up for a ghost hunt at Stratica, the underground salt mine here in Hutchinson, Kansas, and went by myself. Decided I didn't really need to have anybody go with me, as I've always been, oh, got to wait on somebody else. But I turned 40. I decided, hey, I need to get out and start doing things. So went down in the mine, and and they it was one of the first ghost hunts, public ghost hunts they had down there at Stratica. And I went with a group called the Wichita Paranormal Society, and they had went down there a couple weeks beforehand and brought a medium with them back, like 10 years ago. And I think she had a Ouija board or something too, or whatever. But she picked up on, deceased miners down there. There weren't a lot of deaths down there in the mine. I think there were 4 or 5 altogether. But there was one in particular that I really paid attention to, and it was a man named Bill Tilton. And he passed away in 1951 in an area called the Dark Area. And it was, the really part of the original part of the mine. And but anyway, he got killed accidentally. His coworker had packed some dynamite, incorrectly, or did something wrong, whatever. It was an accident. And when they blew up the dynamite, a piece of rock hit the guy in the head and killed him instantly. Well, they've always kind of have picked up on him down there. I mean, I don't think he even knew he died. I think it just hit him so fast. But anyway, we go on this paranormal investigation, and they tell us, of course, hey, make sure you have a buddy with you, don't wander off by yourself. And I didn't go with anybody, so I didn't really have anybody with me. Now there were some coworkers that showed up I didn't know about, that I work with right now, actually. But still, but anyway, went over to the dark area, and I felt kind of drawn to kind of walk away from the group a little bit, and kind of wandered around an area where there's like a set of railroad tracks that run underneath the place where they would have been hauling salt. And I think logically, as a paranormal investigator, I even though I may be spiritual, I'm very rational. I mean, I'm a Libra. I'm very rational, So, but I'm thinking, oh, there's been a lot of activity through here. Let me just hang out here. And I knew the guy had been, had died over here. And I knew I had my little Samsung camera or whatever, my cell phone, and I kind of went, if anybody's here, I'm taking pictures. So I just, snap, snap, snap. And when I got home, started looking at all my fabulous pictures from down in the mine. I caught one that it was really dark, but there was like a little white patch of triangle, like a triangle patch. And I brightened up the picture and kind of zoomed in. And I'll be damned if I didn't like catch a picture of a man standing there. You can
Wow.
see his lapel, which I'll be bringing these pictures to the Paracon, so you
Oh,
guys
nice.
can of course check it out. So,
Yeah.
but anyway, I seen that, and you can see his face really well, his eyes. I mean, he's very well defined, and I'm like, oh my God, I think I got a picture of the miner. Well, after I took those pictures, the gal from the paranormal group came up to me, and she was checking on me. Because like I said, I wandered off by myself, so she was checking on me, make sure I was okay. And I was like, no, I'm kind of getting cold. And I was really bundled up. I had the hard hat on. I had, a jacket on. And I get cold easy. I mean, right now I'm wearing a deal. But
Now,
anyway,
hold on that note,
yeah,
I
go
was
ahead.
reading about Stratica, and
Yeah.
like you're 600 feet
Mhm.
below the ground,
Yeah,
right?
650 feet below.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was like, so the
Yes.
second night, Amanda has a great investigation going there, and I think you're leading that investigation,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
One of the group people. Yep.
Now down in this mine, it is a
Mhm.
constant like 60
Uh,
some degrees, right? It's a
68, 69 degrees, a
right.
constant. They
So
have a
just
big, yeah.
just for that
So
baseline to know that
yeah,
because
kind
you're
of
so far
baseline. Yeah,
down that
there
the
is no
temperature doesn't
fluctuation.
change.
Yeah, the temperature doesn't change. I mean,
Okay.
there might be a bit of a breeze that might blow through, but but like I said, I was bundled up, so I know I wouldn't get cold from being cold down there. But anyway, I'm standing there, and the gal, I was like, I'm feeling really cold. She said, she said, well, can I put my hands around you? And I said, well, yeah, go ahead. And she said she could feel the cold radiating off of me, and like a refrigerator, like you open up a fridge door. And you understand, this is my first ever investigation. I hadn't had this happen to me. Maybe at home, there might have been little bits throughout my life, but I believe Bill came up and embraced me and gave me a ghost hug. And it was like, hey, thank you for taking my picture. Thank you for coming to visit me. And but that feeling is a feeling I get whenever I do encounter spirits. So yeah, if I wouldn't have had that first encounter with him and had that hug, and then came home and got a picture in that same spot I was standing in when I was feeling cold like that, Yeah, I don't think I ever would have went off and went to the Garden of Eden in Lucas, Kansas and got my first EVP and then went to further investigations. But the place that really, I'll call it the birthplace of being a psychic. You know, sure, the mind started it all, but it's called the Eldridge Hotel. It's in Lawrence, Kansas. And I met another psychic there named Lena Townsend, and she's a wonderful gal from the Lawrence area, Leavenworth area. And I met her in this big hotel that's haunted, the Eldridge Hotel. And I remember meeting her, and I met her, and I was wanting to have a reading done from her. And of course, she was going to have a gallery reading done, so she was going to be busy. But I remember her pointing right at me and going, "You need to keep reading." And I thought she meant books. I even said that, "Oh, Lena, I read books all the time." I didn't know she meant reading people, like being a psychic. I had no idea at the time. I called myself a sensitive back then. But that's was really what turned me on to like doing more psychic development and going to Reiki and learning the runes and all that. But it all started down there in the mine. I'm really excited about bringing a group of people down there. And I'm
Yeah,
sure
that's
hope that Bill interacts with us again. I really hope he does.
I've looked at it. I have not purchased tickets for it yet. I kind of have
Yeah.
an issue with the whole 600 feet below ground.
Yeah. I now I'll say that my sinuses tend to act up a little bit from all that salt in the air. But once you get used to it, it's great. I love it down there. It's peaceful. You know, I could live down in the mine and be a mole person. No, but I understand why the place is haunted. Those miners love their job. Okay, they wanted to be down there. They volunteered to go down there. Where a lot of people don't want to go because of claustrophobia or just that fear of the earth pressing down on you. But then you got people
Right.
like me, man. If I wanted to take a pay cut, I'd become a tour guide down there and work down there all the time.
You know, we investigated a place up in Montana, Dumas Brothel, and the same thing. They had tunnels that came from the mine, and the miners would come into there. And like, yeah, mining's a tough job, but and it does take that certain someone. And I think it's the guys that do it do love it, right?
Yeah. Oh
They
yeah.
like being there. They like being either
Yeah.
down there where it's dark or like out in that
Hmm.
big open pit, whatever it
Yeah.
is.
And
So
I had a friend from high school that her dad worked for Morton Salt, and he loved his job. He retired. In fact, most of them retire from it. So it is a passion and a brotherhood for them all. And even like the tour guides down there, some of them have built relationships with some of these spirits. They know they're around and they're very conscious of it. So yeah, it's a great place to go. I'm very thankful and grateful that we're having the opportunity to go down there because it's hard to get down there. You know, they don't let very
well,
many people down there to investigate.
well,
So
that might be
it's been 10 years since I've been there. Okay, I'm put it that way. All right.
might be something I'll have to look closer at and
Yeah.
decide because it's just that
Oh,
deep thing
it's a
that's
once
getting
in a
me.
lifetime opportunity to investigate an actual mine. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, definitely. That's what I'm saying with it. You know,
right.
it's cool.
So then let's go into what
Yeah.
you do now. So
Well, yeah.
you went to Lawrence, Kansas, and you met
Hmm.
this gal, and she said, "Keep
Hmm.
reading."
Yeah, keep
And
reading. Yeah.
did that make you go in that direction
Yeah,
of doing
yes.
that?
Yeah, the fall because that was in like October 2017 and January of 2018. I started taking psychic development classes at a place down in Derby, and it was just a basic pendulum class. And I've never worked with things like this before. You understand? I didn't know anything about any of this stuff. I couldn't tell you chakras from meridians to all the whatever new age whatever runes, let alone that. But I started out with pendulums, and I'm sitting in class, and I'm looking at the other students, and mine's spinning wildly. And there's another gal that I've seen her, I've become friends with. But it's spurred my interest, my curiosity. But by about the third month, I decided I was a little more advanced, so I wanted to take the next class, which was an advanced psychic development. And that one you actually learned how to read people. So I showed up to the first class, and I didn't know anything about it. And I asked my fellow students, there was three or four of us there that evening, and we did free readings for people. They'd come in for 15 minutes and you'd read them. And I didn't know what to do. And they're like, well, just close your eyes and just whatever you see or hear, whatever, just say it. So, I'm like, well, that's not very helpful. But my first client sits in front of me, younger gal, and I might have picked up on a couple things, but nothing to convince me for anything. But it was the second gal. She was an older gal, and she was a regular there at the place that offered these classes. And I closed my eyes and I started seeing the color red. And I kept telling her, I'm seeing red ball caps, red socks, red, red, red. About 5 minutes into it, I finally open up my eyes and I go, are you picking, am I saying anything? Are you relating to anything I'm giving you? I'm talking about the color red. And she looks at me and she's like, you've been talking about red, haven't you? I said, yes. Well, I put my dog down today and her name was Red. And I'm like, your dog's name was Red? And I was like, well, don't tell me what kind of dog it was. So I closed my eyes again and I picked up on a Yorkshire Terrier, which was the same breed of dog. And in my vision, it was running around just fine. It apparently had bad hips and she couldn't see it limping around and suffering any longer. So she put it down that day. But I'll tell you what, the joy, I think what really got me was the joy that I saw in her face when I started talking about her dog she just put down. And the joy I felt, I've never felt that joyous in my life, even after having kids and all these good things. I've never felt like, wow, but I could see with my eyes sparks flying around me like, hey, dummy, this is what we meant by reading. So
Wow.
yeah, and I just kept practicing. They kept having little classes once a month, and I'd attend them. And finally, about September or so, the same year, the gal kind of stopped doing the classes because she just didn't have enough students showing up. I was the only one showing up, and she had clients, and just I couldn't get enough people processed in 15 minutes. But yeah, I mean, it's amazing. I'm just a natural at it. I was born this way. It's on my mom's side of the family. She had some German folks. She had a grandmother that was very, very, she knew things. That's what my mom said. Grandma knew things. Yeah. So she
Grandmas
was
know things, I think, just
apparently
in
very,
general. Like,
she was from Colorado, this grandmother. So yeah. Yeah. So
wow.
she knew things. But my mom never, I don't know. I didn't grow up knowing this. And I sure wish I would have. I had so many scary encounters growing up as a kid with things
That's
and
what
just,
I wanted to get back to was, did you
yeah.
even think that you had anything like this while you were growing up, or were you just, do you, let me
Yeah. Go
ask a
ahead.
different question and then we'll lead into that one.
Mhm.
Do you see, do you see them or do you hear them? How do you communicate?
A little bit everything, but I'm really good at seeing them in my mind. Like it's when I close my eyes, it's when it's like a cinema picture. I'll see
Okay.
them. I also hear like as an evidential medium, I hear them really well. I'm very clear, highly clairaudient. I hear them really well. And
Okay.
I'll,
So
I
now
mean,
growing up,
yeah,
were
growing
you
up,
hearing things or
yeah,
seeing
I
things
had
and
to
you're
have
like,
been. I've always have had weird dreams. I dream vividly every night in color and here, but yeah, I would definitely say I had all kinds. I mean, my, I, when I, my, fir- okay, my first memory as a child of a paranormal experience, I was probably about 6 or 7 years old and we were living in eastern Colorado, and it's a very haunted area in eastern Colorado. Okay, like my mother even says she believes the natives cursed that land. So anyway, I was laying in bed one night and I woke up and I seen little butterflies flying above my face like this. And I got scared, got up, ran to my brother's room and hid underneath his covers and thinking, okay, maybe it was just, bad dream. Brought the blankets back down, opened my eyes again, and there they were again. They followed me. I believe they were fairies. After talking to my mentor that I work with, who's from Wichita, Kansas, she's really into fairies. She really thinks that it was fairies visiting me. And since they scared me like they did, they never showed up like that in my face. But that's
mm,
my very first memory as far as a very serious thing that happened. I didn't tell my mom, never said anything to my brother. I mean, we kept it all hush hush my whole life. All these
right.
experiences. And I mean, that's just one of them of many. I mean, when we moved to Nickerson, Kansas, which is just a little west of Hutchinson, and then there's a really spooky cemetery over there. If anybody has time during the event, go check it out if you want it. Called Wildmead Cemetery. But I grew up in a haunted house there in Nickerson, and we were always hearing things up and down the stairs in the middle of the night, and you'd take a shower and you'd hurry up and rub the soap out of your eyes so you could, you just knew somebody's watching you. But it
Right.
come to find out, a doctor had owned that house at one point in time back in probably the 20s or 30s or so. And he's actually buried there at the cemetery in Nickerson. And I really think it was him checking on us. I think he was the one creeping up and down the stairs. He was the one that watches from the balcony. I mean, my brother had the sheets ripped off of him and had doors open, and my mother would be at home by herself and hear things all over the place, while we were at school. That was during
Now,
the
see, I
day.
don't mind a haunted house, but you
Yeah.
can go a little too far.
It was scary. It was frightening. I might like if we and we never said anything. None of us talked about it until we moved out. Then we started talking about all the freaky things. And my mother was like, man, if I would have known we were all scared like that, we would have moved out of that damn house.
Isn't
But
that crazy?
every
Like
place
you hear
yeah.
those stories all the time where it's
Mhm.
like a
Yeah.
family has different members in a
Mhm.
family have these experiences in a house,
Yeah.
and they never talk about it until
Yeah.
they leave the house, and then it
Yeah.
all comes out.
Yeah,
So weird.
that's exactly how it happened. Because I mean, all of us are very highly sensitive, psychic people living in a portal. I mean, that was a doctor's home. He had many births and many deaths. He had lots of, it had to have been a portal of some sort that just, and my mother got in a relationship with a guy, and this was shortly before I moved out. And he really turned the energy in the house. My brother even said that, yeah, after so and so moved in, it got real dark in there. And then after I moved out, after I had my daughter, yeah, it was like the protector left, whatever it was about me that protects. Because I can go into places and not be affected by things like a lot of other people would be. I have got a serious team around me. I don't know how to talk about it, but yeah, that was big. That was a big part of my life, is growing up in that haunted house.
Wow.
Definitely. Yeah.
So let's go towards
Mhm.
an investigation. When you go on
Yeah.
an investigation,
Mhm.
are you going through? We talked to Tammy Christine last
Yeah.
week. She's going to be at
Yeah.
the con.
Mhm.
Um, and she kind of goes through and does this walkthrough. Do you kind of do that same thing before an investigation?
I
Do the walkthrough
I
to
like to
kind of
do
see what's
I
going
do. I
on and
like to
who's
do the
there?
walkthrough. Yeah, I like to do a walkthrough and kind of pick up on the areas where I think it's kind of like being a bloodhound. You send the bloodhound in, and the bloodhound picks up on the trail. And that's how I do it. And I'm like, okay, investigate here, guys. Let's get some equipment going, or maybe I'll, be hanging, I went to a place, I call it the Railroad House just a few weeks ago in Sterling, Kansas. And I did the very same thing in this house. I walked through it and found one room where the railroad guys would hang out and they'd watch the trains go by. And boy, I mean, I had my spirit box out and was getting beautiful responses from them. Go to the other rooms in the house, I didn't feel anything. So I knew, hey, we need to hang out up here and see what happens. And then it was, so yeah, I definitely go through and kind of do that walkthrough. And I prefer to do that before we break out any kind of equipment. In fact, I'm to the point, I feel like equipment for me is distracting. I'm the
Sure.
equipment, okay? I'm the
Right.
spirit box. But it is nice to have I do love my SB7. I've got a newer one now that spits out really beautiful EVPs. And that way then I can go, other people can hear what goes on up here. Okay. That's what that equipment is for. It's for those people who can't hear it, can't feel it, can't, they got to have a little more proof than those of us that go, oh God, I can feel the cold. I can feel
Right.
chills.
And I would think that
Yeah.
you still want some validation too, that
Uh-huh.
it is what you're
Yes,
feeling or it is what you're hearing.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's part of it too. Is I want some validation, and that's why I mean I love going. I love going on investigations and working with other mediums, because everybody picks up a different vibe from these spirits. And I went to the Fox Theater here in Hutchinson, Kansas, a few years ago on an investigation, and I was working with a. She called herself a 60. I'm a 67-year-old Christian demonologist, and she spotted me, so she wanted to hang out with me the whole night. And we picked up on a guy up in the projection room up at the Fox Theater. She was picking up on all the negative energy from the guy. He was disgusting, horrible to hear her. He was trying to wine and dine me. So we both had different perceptions, but we both knew it was the same man, same person. So that was a lot of fun to kind of test myself out with another psychic. That was really my first experience to do that anyway, back at the Fox Theater. Because there's not a lot of people that want to admit that they're psychic, or they're scared to come out and say something to people, and you might be thought as you're being crazy or something, you know?
Right. I think it'd be pretty
No.
neat because not everyone is on the same plane, right?
Yeah. Oh,
So
yeah,
like
exactly.
the vibrations and all that kind
Hmm.
of stuff. So
Yeah.
even two or three mediums in a room may pick up
Yeah.
on something completely different from each
Uh,
other.
exactly. Yes. But I think all that energy of these three or four beings that are more I consider myself an antenna. I'm just a big radio
Mhm.
antenna, and I'm receiving and sending off signals. And mine's a big one out there in the field. And there are other of us that are like the big ones, and there's some that have smaller antennas. But you get if you get people with lots of big antennas, and we send out that signal, then we bring that in and interpret it, just like a radio. That's how I scientifically explain it. We're all frequencies, whether we're high on the list of radio stations, or we're low on the list. What do we give out?
Right.
What kind of message do we receive and transmit and whatnot? So that's my theory on it all.
So
We're just we're just tuned. Yeah.
going into an investigation where you're
Mhm.
that open, what are
Mhm.
you doing for protection and to protect yourself?
I think of that was I will tell you what, that's a good question. That was one of those things it took me a long time when I started doing my psychic development stuff. What is my shield? Here I
Mhm.
had people telling me, "Oh, imagine you have mirrors, or imagine a white bubble of light, blah blah blah." I finally figured out that I'm very Viking like or Nordic like. Mine's a shield wall. It's like shield wall, put that up, and it's like having a big shield around me, like the Viking shield. I think of like the Lost Kingdom. There was a HBO or whatever show that had them shield wall. So
Mm.
I had to figure that on my own, and that took me several years of learning. And I mean, I've picked up on mentors and tried all their, but eventually it was like I've got a shield wall that I put up. Or I will ask my grandfather. I work with a grandfather, and I call him the bouncer. He's the one that takes care of the door. So when I want to do readings for somebody, I'll call upon my grandfather and say, "Hey, can you take care of the door? Allow this person in, but don't allow that." So
Mm.
I have several, and plus, certain other beings that I work with as well, that I'll say, "Hey, protect me, Thor, protect me, Odin." I'm very Nordic about my psychic stuff. So, working with the Nordic gods. So, but
Yeah.
yes, there's several layers of protection, and not as well as ancestors. So, I suggest to people the first thing they could do is call upon their ancestors to protect them. Grandfather is not going to want anything bad to happen to you, okay? But you got to ask him for the assistance, okay? That's the rule. That's that free will thing.
Right.
Ask for
So
help.
you're not always on.
Oh,
You
exactly. Oh
put the
no,
ball up
no, not at all.
and it's done. And
Yeah,
so, um,
yeah.
and then you have your she shed. We
Mhm.
tried to get this going out there, but didn't quite have the connection.
Yeah,
Um, and
that's all right.
that's and from what I understand, that's now where you do your business at, right? And your she
Yes.
shed.
Yeah, yes, I'm a Reiki master, a Karuna Reiki master. Reiki is a Japanese for it is like Japanese energy work. I
Oh.
help clean people's houses. I take care of Reiki's really great for stress relief. If like if I'm feeling real tight, I'll have a student of mine come over, do a Reiki session with me, and kind of help me relax. And you're not going to heal if you're tight all the time. You got to relax a little bit. So
Mm.
Reiki's really big with that. I also do mediumship readings as well out there. And of course, I also read the runes. I don't read tarot cards, but I do read the runes. The runes are the Nordic divination system. They would be the Elder Futhark runes were the original alphabet of the Nordic people about the year 280 or so. So I use them as for guidance as well. So I combine all that. I combine the energy work with the advice from the runes, and I focus on the now. I don't worry about the future. I don't worry about the past. I work like what's going on right now, because that's the most important space right now, is what's going on right now in our lives.
Mm.
We a lot of us tend to ignore the now, and we're too busy over here that we get scattered. So a lot of it, that's me. I like to help people out. I want to inspire them. I feel like my story with me starting out when I turned 40, I didn't know anything about psychic stuff or Reiki or any of this stuff. But I went ahead and quit fighting. I quit fighting the current. I started going with the flow. And next thing you know, my life just got better and better and better. And that's what I really want to do for people, is to help inspire them to overcome obstacles and problems. And because none of us are perfect. We call but we got to live authentic lives. And I think when we stop living authentically, that's when the universe goes, "No, you need to get back on track and start being yourself. You
Mm.
you aren't that over there." But
I agree.
so authenticity is really important with me as well. It's like, be real. If you you get what you get with me.
Just,
You
yeah,
know?
be you and be honest, right? I mean, it's pretty easy in life if
But
you go by that.
but 40 years before that, I wasn't living authentically. I was unhappy. I was miserable. I was, and I wish I could have been a better parent to my kids. During that time. But after I turned and I started, it was ghost hunting was what brought out my authentic self, who I am today. So I'm
That's
very
great.
thankful for
You know,
that. Mhm.
and in general,
Mhm.
the other investigators are out there, are all in it for the same thing. I think we
Mhm.
all um, tend to want to either help people or
Mhm.
just be out there and I know I like when we collab with other teams
Yeah.
and see what they do and they see what we do and I may get to learn something new
Yeah.
or teach them something new. Um, and it's just that good, wholesome, hey, let's just get together and do this, and
Yeah.
everyone has a good time, and you know,
And it is wholesome fun. You gotta go when you go investigating, you gotta bring fun with you because spirits love fun. They love love, they love joy, they love laughter,
right?
and
We
and
honest,
some are repelled by the love and by the
we
laughter and they take off too.
we
So
honestly get a lot of activity when we're just sitting there chatting too.
yeah.
When
Oh yeah.
when we're catching up,
Hmm.
one of our members lives in Colorado, and so when we're getting to an investigation, we
Hmm.
catch up on, hey, what have you done last week? And we're sitting around like in the middle of it, after you've gone through the house and you're like,
Hmm.
okay, we
Oh yeah.
need to regroup, and and then we're sitting there just kind of talking. What have you been up to? What's going on?
Hmm.
How's the significant other? How's this? What's going? And that's when like the activity comes, or you're
Hmm.
cracking some
Oh yeah.
jokes
Yep.
because you're still putting out energy.
Yeah.
You're putting out that good energy, right?
Mhm.
And it's
Yeah.
it's just it's
And,
taking
and
that and using that more than even if you're just
Mhm.
rah rah rah, which I
and
don't do anymore.
you're relaxing, okay, because as a psychic, when I'm real super relaxed, that's when I hear the best, that's when I see the best. So if we're sitting around relaxing and chatting and not like not it's like I tell people, I said you got to let the house come to you. You can't go to the house. You got to let it come to you. I went to the Aurora brothel back in
Oh,
April. Wait, I'm sorry, back in
Myra.
May with some
Oh,
yes.
I love Myra. We
I
had her on the
love
show,
that place,
and
and
she's
I'm
a
telling
riot.
you, she's great, and that building loves her. But it was when we started relaxing and hanging out in a spot where we didn't think there was going to be any activity. That's when we had the wonderful pendulum session with a minor who was
Yeah,
talking about what he liked in women, and it was just. But we were super relaxed. We weren't chasing it anymore. We relaxed and let it come to us.
let it
So
come to you.
it's spontaneous too. I mean, you can't force it, and you're going to waste all your energy trying to force things when you're ghost hunting. If you just sit back and relax and take a nap, and chill out for a little
Just
bit,
relax. Yeah, we
just
are.
relax.
Before the con, we're coming out to Kansas, so we're coming out
Okay.
2 times that month.
Okay.
We're in Wyoming. It's a 10-hour drive for us, but Kansas has kind of been a good spot for us. We're coming out to do the Garnet House
Okay.
in
Yes.
Garnet,
Yes. Oh yeah,
Kansas.
I've been there before. Yep.
So we are excited to go there. We're doing two
Yep.
nights, and
Good.
we've talked to like Penn Paranormal, who's in
Hmm.
Kansas, and
Hmm.
the place is just crazy. So we're excited to come out and do that and do that. We're gonna just sit
Just
back and
relax.
let the house come to us
You
and
let the
see what we
house come
get.
to you. Yeah, yeah. When I went there, I have a really cool portal, and I got some of the best EVPs. One of them said, "Becky, get out." It was real loud. I was like, "Wow, okay, I guess somebody likes me here." But I would like to go back there. I would. I've been. It's been a few years since I've been. I'm sure it's been fixed up quite a bit too. I think the fellow that owned it kind of had just acquired it and was still hard at work trying to get her good enough to where people could start investigating. So I think it's
Right.
changed a lot. But I
We
would like
did
to go
his
to that one. That'd
we
be
did his
fun.
other location in Yates Center. It was
Oh,
Whiteface House, and I think that he sold
oh,
that now.
okay.
But
All
um,
right.
yeah, he has had a couple great locations, and yeah, seemed like a really good guy.
Yeah.
Um, so now, are you? Have you stepped in that you went and learned how to open
Oh yeah.
yourself and get these abilities?
Mhm.
Have you stepped into that role to teach others?
Absolutely. I do teach Reiki. and I kind of teach Reiki my own little way compared to what I had learned. So I do that, and yes, I do psychic mentorship as well. I do help people out with that, and I kind of, I love. I'm just a natural teacher, so I know I'm meant to be a teacher for people, and it's amazing all the readings that I've done, how many times I've inspired other people to start following their path. There's been a lot of psychics and a lot of Reiki people they were basically like me. They didn't know what they wanted to do. And next thing you know, a year from later, they're doing Reiki or they're doing readings. So in a way, I have helped propel several people. So I kind of feel like I'm that guide. I'm that person that's supposed to help show the way, because I didn't have anybody to guide me. I wish I could have had somebody when I was 20 years old and was messed up, and would have loved to have had a guide. I mean, oh my God, my poor husband, you know, what the heck did he end up marrying? I mean, I feel for him, I mean, he's had to deal with this whirlwind energy here,
Oh, he's a Blackburn. He probably grew up
he's a
with it.
Blackburn. But yeah, I enjoy, I want to help guide people. I've met some mediums that they're so tight with their,
Mm,
I'm like, why not help people out? That's why God gave me this gift. That's why I've inherited this. I'm supposed to help people out. I can't wait to have grandchildren one day and teach them my ways and help them when they have scary things happen and say, hey, it's going to be okay. Here's some I wish I
right.
could have had that. So yeah, I definitely love teaching people. So, and you can reach out if you need help or whatever, reach out through my website, saltcitypsychic.com. And, I would definitely be willing to help people out to learning just how to protect themselves and how to ground and center and breathe and relax. Okay. Relax.
Now, do you only do readings in person, or do you schedule and
um,
do readings with people
I mainly
online
do
at
them.
all?
I mainly do them in person.
Okay.
I, I'm not very techy. Okay. I think that's a lot of. I think what scares me, technology. Okay, it ain't the boogeyman.
Right.
It's not that, and maybe it's other people, but but the tech. I need to get. I mean, I've talked to my kids about this. I need to get out of my shell about not about doing readings online, because I know online is where I could definitely stop working my regular job and start doing this stuff full time. Eventually, it is my retirement plan. Okay, this past 10 years has been investing a lot of money and a lot of time. It is part of my retirement plan. Okay, you know. Figure
Nice.
they can wheel me in a wheelchair. I know of a reader who's like that. She does. She'll they wheel her into the spirit fair and then she gets to work. So,
That's funny.
but I do. I enjoy. I do. I just love. I don't know. I just love communicating with people too. I mean, I'm a bit of a hermit, but I do enjoy sharing my shed time. But yes, I do need to do more online stuff, like podcasts. Okay. So,
No,
like,
we were doing a bunch for Way Out West, and it's like, okay, we're doing all this, and hey, do we want to do
yeah.
this podcast? And it's like, yeah,
Mhm.
we're not busy enough. Let's go ahead and start it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I
So it
bet.
was great.
Yeah.
And I love this. I love talking the
Mhm,
spiritual and the ghosty
mhm.
stuff.
Oh, yeah, me
It
too.
makes
Yeah,
it
I don't
really easy when it's something that you like, right?
exactly. That's what I say. Do what makes you happy, okay? And that's what I'm saying. It may not make you $1 million. I mean, to me, happiness isn't always about money. It's about just experiences and relationships you build and growth that you see in other people. That you planted a seed in somebody. I love seeing growth.
Yep.
So it is. I'm very, very motivated to help people out. I know I got to do things. Do the right things. Spread
Yeah.
love, and
Make
light.
memories. That's what
That's right. Make
Tina's big thing,
memories.
making memories.
Yeah, as I'll say, probably my funnest investigation I ever went on was with my kids, and we went to the Missouri State Penitentiary.
Uh-huh.
Uh, we used to watch Ghost Adventures a lot. In fact, I will credit the Ghost Adventures guys, which I don't watch them anymore, but I will credit them back in their early years when they would talk about things they would feel. I'd be like, I feel that way too sometimes. It was back when I was a sensitive. But anyway, my son, he wanted to go to a place that they had been to. And of course, the Missouri State Pen, Ghost Adventures guys. So I bought tickets for the kids for Christmas. And following summer, we went and we had the time of our lives in that big prison. And it was 2018 before the tornado hit. So you could still go up on the scaffoldings and walk
Well,
between the cell blocks up at the top area. But I collected some of the best EVPs. Like I brought a pack of cigarettes with me because you think about treats, for the prisoners. And
mhm.
I picked up an EVP that said smoking, cancer. And I'm like, wow, and I mean, you could hear it in real time. I mean, if you want to go on a ghost hunt, go to Missouri State Pen, man, you're guaranteed to have something happen to you there. But that was one of the funnest. My kids and I, we went down to the dungeon, and my daughter encountered Slenderman, is what I call him. He was a big dude that was trying to come inside the cell, and she kept seeing a wall of people pushing him back. And my son was seeing orbs in this cell, and I started seeing orbs because I have a hard time seeing things with my eyes, which I'm glad with that. Okay, I don't need to see them. Okay, every now and then I see things. I don't want to. I don't want that. I
You're
don't
like,
know
I hear
why
enough. I
people.
don't need to see them.
Yeah, why do people want to see them? Why is that people's goals? I mean, that's another thing too with psychic development. If you're not good at something, don't focus on that. Focus on the things you're good at. If you hear real
Mm,
well, focus on the hearing. If you do see real well, focus on, But yeah, my daughter, she could see them. Like, she wears glasses, and she'd take her glasses down. She was seeing things in that cell all over the place. But yeah, it was one heck of a night. My son got scratched in cell 26. I've never seen anybody get scratched before or since. And I didn't know if I really believed in that. After that moment, I believed in it, and so did he, because he was on the fence about ghosts, and yeah, he had that scratch there in 26, and yeah, it was every place we went there was that. But you understand that those are my children. I'm high. I'm that big antenna out there in that field. My kids are just as much. So there was the three of us running around this big space, and they were seeing us. They could see our light. So they were all over the place. But yeah, because when we were down there in the dungeon and we were having all this experience, that the rest of the people that was with us, they all said they all wanted to come into our space. And you could just feel the spell burst. It's like, do you
mm,
guys realize you just walked it? Like, Slenderman was hanging right there, guys. He was right there in that doorway. If you would have known,
yeah.
But
It's
yeah,
like
that was
sometimes it's
probably
just
my
that
funnest.
smaller group and you don't need
Oh
everybody,
yeah.
right?
You don't need everybody. But I've been to the Stanley Hotel. I got my daughter got married up there back in 2023, and I did get to stay in Grant's room. That was my daughter's room where they were staying with before they got married, and I did a little séance in that room. Oh yes.
Oh, nice,
And I brought a haunted
nice.
doll with me, and I put a cat ball on her lap, and that ball was going off and on like nobody was touching it, but there was men spirits that run around in the lodge, and there was one of them that got in my head, and he was wanting me to give her a message, and so I went ahead and relayed this message to my daughter, and the ball on the doll's lap just started blinking. Everybody just That was a fun place too. So I will say 1302. I think that's the room number, is very haunted at the Stanley Hotel. Go check it out.
Yeah.
So.
Been to the Stanley, stayed once.
Mhm.
Great place.
Mhm.
I know Gina and her daughter did, when she was in Girl Scouts, did
Mhm.
the ghost tour, the haunted tour, whatever they did.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now they kind of stepped away from the haunted stuff for a little bit, and now I think they're embracing it again. I've seen that there's a team that's investigating there a lot,
Yeah.
and they're doing some
Nice.
stuff. So I think they've opened back up to it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that's a thing where so many people, you can bring in so many people, right?
Oh
When
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
when it's a location like that, if they sold out to some investment group, and
Mhm.
those people want their money, so
Oh
why
yeah.
not? And
Yeah.
we'll pay, right?
Oh, we
Us,
will.
us
Yeah.
ghost people will pay.
I'll
So
still go.
yeah.
And
Um,
my thing is more, it's more quality than quantity. Now I'm like, I'm gonna pick one or two good locations a year. I'm thinking Kansas State Penitentiary. I'm really craving to go back up there. I did the daytime tour, and I
is
thought it
that
was
in
amazing.
Leavenworth or
It's up in Leavenworth, yes. Yeah,
okay?
and they just opened up part of it for tours. So I'm thinking,
Oh,
oh, this fall I got to find something. Okay, I'm kind of itching again. And I went and did the brothel. Now I need to find something this fall to go do and save
is
back my
there a
pennies.
location, any location in the US that is like a bucket list location you want to go to?
Well, definitely, I love prisons. So I would say the prisons. I've heard Cowtown in Wichita is pretty good, but as far as a bucket list, I would like to go to like New Orleans. I think
Mm,
or I know I don't see. There's so many places I can't make up my mind. Or Arizona. There's a place that was a brothel. I can't think of the name, but anyway, there was a place like not near Winslow or something. But anyway, but I don't know. But I'm thinking New Orleans. I think if I could, that or Gettysburg. I don't know. I can't
Don't
make up
get
my
me
mind.
started. I love Gettysburg. I've been twice. I went out a
Have you
couple of
been
friend
there?
with an
How'd you feel
event.
about Gettysburg? Did you?
Gettysburg, when you roll into the town, you feel the
Okay.
energy.
Okay.
For years, Cheyenne was 50,000 people. We've gone up to
Okay.
65, but
All
for
right.
years and years and years, we were 50,000. And I always use that as like the town of Cheyenne died at Gettysburg.
Ah, wow.
50,000 people died in Gettysburg.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, when you put it that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's, you
Yeah.
feel the energy when you roll into town.
Wow.
This
Yeah.
year, last year we went during the battle, the group
Mhm.
that
Okay.
Wild West went. And, what was interesting, what I found the most interesting is we did have a great investigation,
Mhm.
but we did a ghost tour on July 4th.
Mhm. Okay.
We just finished as they're starting the fireworks, and we're walking down these streets, Baltimore Street, where there's still all these Civil
Mhm.
War houses, and they have these plaques that say Civil War House,
Mhm.
1863, and now these fireworks are going off. And I'm
Okay.
like, this is
Ooh.
probably close to what it sounded like.
Yeah.
We're walking down the street and this is all
Ooh.
happening, these big booms and all this stuff. And it was just, I'm talking about it and I'm getting goosebumps.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
such a great experience.
Yeah.
And then we had, you can't go on the park at night. The
Okay.
park, you can go through the main roads, but you can't
Mhm.
go on like the side roads into, or you get a ticket. All of our watchers know
Mhm.
that this is my warning ticket.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, but we got to the edge of the battlefield and we had a great investigation.
Yeah.
Um, shadow figures,
Oh,
footsteps where it sounded like they were walking in around us,
oh,
and just so much. It is such an
yeah.
amazing place. Yeah, I
Yeah.
could talk about it, and we've had our own episode, we've done other
Mm.
episodes, and it is a really cool place. So yes,
Yeah.
that is somewhere you need to get. We're
Yeah. Yeah.
looking
I would like to do that. That would be
we're
all
looking
right.
at Gettysburg or, New Orleans 27.
Mhm.
So the group is
Okay.
looking at New
Yeah.
Orleans, and I'm like,
Yeah,
"Yeah,
I would like to. Yeah, there's a few places down there. I mean, New Orleans. I've always been drawn to that, and I don't know if it's just my nativeness, my Choctaw in me that wants to go down there in the swamps, and I want to go check that. I do. I want to check something like that out
mm,
real bad.
Cajun food and voodoo? Come on."
And voodoo. Oh my God. Yeah, I want to go to a real voodoo shop. I can imagine my husband going, "Let's go, let's go."
We have Maria that just popped in and said, "Hey," from Norway. So thank you for
Howdy.
Maria for coming in.
Yes.
Yes, New Orleans is amazing. I keep looking at it and like, what
Yeah.
can we do there and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
So,
that's me. Or there's another place too. Is my brother was born in Rawlins, Wyoming,
oh
and I
yeah,
wouldn't mind visiting that prison up there too. Is my mom? We lived up there for a real short period of time when I was real little, and I've heard that that's a pretty spooky place too. And oh, I don't know. I've been studying up on the Donner tragedy.
oh yeah,
And
yeah.
I
The
just
old
do. I'm
Rollins
morbid
pen,
like that. I want to go
the,
to
old-
those places.
the old Rollins pen is pretty cool. It's
Yeah.
it was still open through the 70s.
Hmm.
So honestly, my family was either cops or criminals.
Okay.
And my uncle's like, "Oh, hey, you got to check this out and check this out." He goes,
Yeah.
I did a year and a half for a pound of weed there. And it's like,
Oh
no,
my.
that's like 6 months in county.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping one day Hutchinson has an amazing old historic prison here too. And I know I've heard rumors that they're wanting to build a new prison and end up shutting down that prison and turning it
Oh,
into a tourist destination like Leavenworth. So
right.
I really, and I've got a few people I know that have worked at the prison that would love to volunteer as guides. And I'm like, hey, pick me. I mean, I would love to do regular ghost tours at the prison here in Hutchinson. So I'm hoping that'll materialize one of these days for us.
That would be great. Just another added location.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm always looking for places, I do. I enjoy it. I do. I don't mind going by myself. I don't mind going with the group. I just like having fun and picking up on things, getting evidence. I love it when they
Right.
talk to me, and I catch it on recorder. you know.
Nice. Yeah, I like the audio
It's
stuff too.
fun. Yeah.
So
It's
Becky,
good stuff.
what other events do you have coming up? Are you going to be anywhere else besides Central
Well,
Kansas Paracon where people can
well,
find
I'm
you?
gonna be well this coming weekend I like I said, I'm a rune reader. I read the runes, or I'm gonna be down in Wichita at a little crystal shop doing rune readings, and then October I'll be doing another spirit fair. But I don't really have anything really planned after the Paracon. I'm gonna have to pick out a location to go investigate. I'm kind of waiting to kind of get that over with before I make up my mind, I guess. Like one thing at a time, okay? you know. But I'm trying to decide. I don't know. I've got a little group of girls I like to go with, and we went to the brothel and we had a good time. And I kind of want to pick something a little close. I don't know. There's another place too that it's called Cherry Vale, and it's the location where the Bloody Benders were. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of the Bloody Benders. They were a
Tell us.
family that moved into southeastern Kansas around that area around oh, the 1880s, 1890s. And they were like serial killers, okay? And there's a museum in Cherryvale, Kansas that has the actual hammers that they found that were used to kill these people
Oh,
that were travelers on the trail, back in the day between Indian Territory and Garnett, Garnett Hotel, that area.
uh-huh.
There was like a trail that everybody would follow. And
Okay.
but people were disappearing mysteriously, and it was the trail was pretty famous for bandits and robbers, and people would get robbed, and whatever. And but this family, they would lure people into their little cabin space, and they would, but Cherryville, they got a really cool hotel there that's supposed to be really haunted too as well. So I thought about kind of doing something like that, get a group of people, rent all the rooms, investigate the hotel, and then go to the museum and see, so just little things like that,
Wow.
places that you don't hear about. I kind of like going down the road less traveled, you know,
Yeah, I do too.
discover new
That was
places,
the Bloody Benders.
The Bloody Benders.
Okay.
Yes, the
We'll have
Bloody
to check that out.
Benders. Check that out. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they've got a museum in Cherryvale, Kansas.
Mhm.
Cherryvale, Kansas. And like I said, there's a hotel there too that's really old that's supposed to be haunted too. So I don't know. I've got lots of options. I'm
Yeah.
just kind of taking it easy.
Where can people find you? I have your webpage here,
Yeah.
saltcitypsychic.com on the ticker, but where else can
Well,
they find you?
I'm really big into Facebook. I'm trying to get my YouTube going. It's just, again, I'm not really techie, so I'm kind of slow going with loading up videos. But Facebook's really big for me. I share all my stories. I always like to try to share positive messages on a daily basis. I take lots of pictures, of flowers, and just there's so much negativity out there. I try to keep my page positive and kind of keep it clean like that, and
And
a
that
little
page is
fun.
Salt
And
City
yeah,
Psychic. Is that listed?
Salt City Psychic and Reiki Holistic Center. But if you just look up Salt City Psychic, you'll find it. It's the only one there on Facebook land. but that's where I really do. I mean, you can message me there, or like I said, my website. Get a hold of me there. I mean, I'm pretty easy to catch anyway. So
It sure seems like it. Becky, thanks for coming on tonight.
yeah,
It's
thank
been great
you.
talking to you. I
Yeah.
look forward to meeting you at
Yes,
Central
yes, I
Kansas
can't wait to meet
Paracon.
you. And
Um,
I hope
and-
I hope you go to the mine. Okay, you need to do it. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity. Okay, to go 650 feet below,
oof.
folks. 650 in a mine and go ghost hunting, and it is an active mine with ghosts. Okay,
Yeah.
all
Oh,
right,
and
and
there's
go with me.
lots of cool movie
Dead men love
memorabilia
me.
and stuff down there too,
Oh
right?
yeah, there's movie. Oh yeah, all kinds of stuff. Yeah. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's
So
it's a
yeah,
cool place.
I think I'll look more into that. I'll talk to Gina, and
Okay.
I think we'll probably
Yeah.
get the tickets for that.
Definitely.
So awesome.
So,
Again, Becky, thank you for coming on
well,
tonight.
thank you, man. Thank
Um,
you, everybody.
oh, we got some. Becky, I'm going to put you in the green room, and I'll catch up with you
Okay.
right after I close out the
All
show.
right.
Oh, another great guest tonight, and we'll be able to find her and see her at that Central Kansas Paracon in Hutchinson, Kansas, the end of September. I'm looking forward to meeting her and all the other great people that we've had on recently that are going to be at that. The Chumming with the Spirits guys, they had their show on just before us. So Chumming with the Spirits podcast, you'll find them on Facebook. Tammy Christine last week. We had Adrian from the Amok podcast, and I forget his group, but all great guests and all going to be at Central Kansas. So check out Central Kansas Paracon on Facebook. Get your tickets. Come see the Way Out West crew. Come see us do interviews with people at the table live. And all the other vendors and great speakers are going to be there. Everyone, thanks for coming and watching Unraveling the Darkness tonight. Have a good night.
Unraveling the Darkness would like to thank Horn Paranormal Research for sponsoring our show. If you're craving more paranormal content, don't forget to check out our YouTube and Facebook channels at Way Out West Paranormal and Unraveling the Darkness. You can catch all of our episodes of Unraveling the Darkness on Apple Podcasts, Facebook, and YouTube. Be sure to like and subscribe as it helps others find the show and join in on the paranormal fun. Thank you so much for tuning in. Until next time, keep your lights on, stay safe, and remember, the truth is out there, and it might just be closer than you think.